Thank you for joining us. Here are the weekly highlights of Arakan. Junta airstrike hits public internet access point in Ponnagyun Township. Fighting resumes for control of Sittwe. Skin diseases spread among displaced communities in Rathedaung Township. Arakan Army strengthens maritime security along Bangladesh border. Myanmar Navy detains Pauktaw fishermen and demands ransom. Junta drone attacks force Kyaukphyu villagers to flee. Fighting has continued across Arakan State for more than 2 years as the Arakan Army presses its offensives. From January 26 to February 1st of 2026, we'll be bringing you key developments in Arakan. Junta airstrike hit public internet access point in Ponnagyun Township. A Myanmar military jet fighter dropped at least 4 bombs on a public internet access point near Pauktaw village in Arakan State's Ponnagyun Township at around 1:30 a.m. on January 27th. Local sources said the targeted site is located alongside the Yangon to Sittwe road near the border of Pauktaw Township and serves as a vital communication hub, providing internet services for local communities in Arakan State. Amid a total mobile phone and internet blackout imposed by the military regime in Arakan State, the United League of Arakan has been providing limited Starlink internet services in its liberated areas to facilitate essential communication for the public. The military regime has increasingly targeted crowded public areas and residential buildings with airstrikes across Arakan State. 2 internally displaced persons were killed and 5 others, including a 9-month-old infant, were injured when the regime carried out a drone attack on a school in Ponnagyun village in Kyaukphyu Township at around 1 p.m. on January 24th. On the night of January 20th, the military regime also bombed a prisoner of war camp near Rathedaung village in Pauktaw Township. Fighting resumes for control of Sittwe. Fighting for control of Sittwe, which had stalled since the second week of January, reportedly resumed on January 25th. With both sides exchanging artillery fire, multiple launched rocket systems and small arms fire were heard from the morning of January 25th near the border of Sittwe and Ponnagyun Townships, as well as close to the regional command headquarters and junta battalions. Fighting was reported to be ongoing. The exchange of fire in Sittwe Township had stopped on January 13, but sounds of fighting returned on January 25th from areas including Pauktaw, Ponnagyun, and Pauktaw villages. The Arakan Army has been attempting to expand its territory since capturing several outpost camps of the Sittwe-based regional command headquarters on January 9th. The Arakan Army has already captured military camps near Wabo Island, Gango Island, and Token village in Sittwe Township. The Arakan Army began attacking the outskirts of Sittwe in early January 2025, mainly using artillery and drones rather than ground offensives. As Sittwe is the last remaining stronghold of the military regime in northern Arakan State, observers say fighting is likely to persist. Skin diseases spread among displaced communities in Rathedaung Township. Skin diseases are increasingly affecting displaced people and local residents living in displaced camps and villages in Rathedaung Township, according to aid workers and local residents. An aid worker assisting displaced communities said people sheltering at Kedora displacement camp and in Satida, Rathedaung, Twsp, and Rathedaung villages on Muse Island are among the worst affected. More than 2,000 people, including many children, are living in these camps and villages. As the number of cases continues to rise, there is an urgent need for medical assistance. Skin infections are also spreading at Mampu displacement camp on the banks of Mayu River in Rathedaung Township, where infection rates have been increasing daily since early January. The Mampu displacement camp shelters people who fled from villages in Sittwe Township, including Saroja, Braipuro, Chido, Mongan, and Gride. More than 200 displaced people, including children and elderly residents, are living in the camp and are in urgent need of medical supplies. Similar skin disease outbreaks have been reported among displaced people and local residents in other townships in Arakan State, including Ponnagyun, Dango, Kyaukphyu, and Gwa. Arakan Army strengthens maritime security along Bangladesh border. The Arakan Army has recently intensified maritime security operations along the border between Arakan State and Bangladesh, according to sources close to the ethnic armed group, to address security threats faced by local residents and curb the activities of Muslim armed groups. The Arakan Army is carrying out clearance operations along the land border while maintaining regular patrols in Arakan territorial waters. The Arakan Army is also reportedly increasing enforcement actions and arrests against Bangladeshi nationals who entered the Bay of Bengal and the mouth of the Naf River for illegal fishing activities. Residents in Mandor said clashes frequently occur as Muslim armed groups often launch attacks on Arakan Army outposts. Border residents said the groups typically retreat into Bangladeshi territory after launching attacks when pursued by Arakan Army forces. Frequent clashes have been reported near villages including Wilatong, Tangpyo Lawe, Leira, and Rathedaung, where Muslim armed groups take advantage of dense jungle terrain to attack Arakan Army bases. Local residents said they welcomed the Arakan Army's increased security presence, citing previous incidents in which Muslim armed groups carried out acts of violence, including the abduction and killing of villagers. Myanmar Navy detains Pauktaw fishermen and demands ransom. 10 fishermen from Pauktaw Township in Arakan State who were detained by the Myanmar Navy on January 25th were released on January 27th after being forced to pay 1 million debts each, local residents said. The fishermen had departed from a jetty in Kyaukphyu village and were heading toward the Western Sea when a Myanmar Navy vessel patrolling the area opened fire and chased their boat. While in custody, the fishermen were reportedly beaten with sticks. Heavy personnel demanded a ransom of 1 million debts per person in exchange for their release. In a separate incident on January 27th, the Myanmar Navy also detained 6 Muslim fishermen who were working near Sandoshan Island. Local residents, already facing severe economic hardship due to the ongoing conflict, are increasingly being arrested while attempting to earn a living at sea. Pauktaw Township, which is controlled by the Arakan Army, lies across the water from the Arakan state capital, Sittwe. Myanmar Navy vessels stationed around Sittwe regularly patrol the area and target local fishermen. Junta battalions based in Sittwe and naval vessels also continue to shell Pauktaw Township with heavy artillery and creating serious obstacles for residents trying to sustain their livelihoods. Junta drone attacks force Kyaukphyu villagers to flee. Residents from nearly 10 coastal villages in Kyaukphyu Township, Arakan State, have been forced to flee their homes since early January due to the Myanmar military regime's increased use of reconnaissance drones and aerial attacks. Villagers from Kyaukphyu, Wamiao, Kyaukphyu, Zonsho, Gong, Gongbo, Muron, and Kalente are among those seeking safety. While the exact number of displaced people is still being verified, local residents estimate that hundreds are now taking temporary shelter in orchards, farm huts, and other makeshift structures outside their villages. Locals said the regime is launching drones from Navy vessels stationed at sea, about 4 miles from the affected villages. Although the villages are located between 10 and 15 miles from the active frontline fighting, they have been targeted by heavy artillery, airstrikes, and drone operations. On January 17th, combined drone and Navy artillery attacks on Kyaukphyu village killed 3 displaced people and injured another. These were the main highlights of the past week in Arakan. This program is presented every Tuesday, so please stay tuned. May all people of Arakan and the world stay healthy and safe.